About 10 years ago, I experienced a memorable summer. I lived in a city that was too warm for my liking, so I longed to be in the countryside, among the woods and greenery. I owned a small red car and had a map for guidance. One night, I drove into the countryside, feeling content in my vehicle. That summer was particularly beautiful, with the early mornings showcasing the stunning landscape, the warmth of the sun, and the clear blue sky. The sound of birds filled the air. Suddenly, my car came to a halt. I realized I had run out of fuel and needed to find a town to purchase more, but I was lost. As I checked the map, I realized I was far from any town. At that moment, I noticed a girl walking along the road, carrying flowers. She was dressed in a long outfit, her long, black hair shining in the sunlight. She was strikingly beautiful. Wanting to talk to her, I stepped out of the car and greeted her, mentioning that I was lost and out of fuel. She seemed scared, so I spoke to her gently. I inquired, where might I obtain some? Her gaze met mine, her blue eyes sparkling as she offered a smile. She's quite beautiful, I mused silently. I'm not sure, she replied, but come with me to the village. Maybe there we can assist you. I joined her with a sense of joy, and together we trekked a considerable distance. I pondered the absence of the village on my map, guessing it might be too small to be marked. Indeed, there was a village, quaint and aged in its beauty. The houses, with their black and white facades, were diminutive and nestled among numerous animals. She led me to a house, her smile inviting. Please, come inside, she beckoned. Inside, the house was immaculate, yet it held an air of oddity. A fire blazed with food cooking above it, which struck me as unusual. They must cook over a wood fire due to a lack of funds, I thought, my stomach rumbling with hunger. Her parents greeted me, and I found them to be kind-hearted folks, despite their unconventional attire. The elderly man invited me to sit and offered a drink to quench my thirst from the walk. Thank you, I expressed, tasting the peculiar, dark brown, potent beverage. It was all very bewildering, yet I felt content in their company. When I mentioned needing petrol, the old man looked puzzled. Petrol? He echoed, what's that? I sat, perplexed by the situation. I then posed a question, is walking your usual mode of transport here? The elderly man offered a smile in response. Not at all, we ride horses, he informed me. The thought crossed my mind, horses seem such a slow way to travel. Why don't they use cars? However, I kept these thoughts to myself. The place had a certain charm that made me feel content. I spent the entire day there, enjoying a meal with them in the evening. Later, Mary and I stepped out into the garden. "It's lovely," she remarked. "We enjoy having guests. It's rare for us to meet new people." Our conversation was light and joyful. Her beauty was undeniable, but after a while, her tone grew hushed, her expression turned somber. "What's troubling you?" I inquired. "I can't share that with you," she replied. "You're just passing through. We must part ways tonight. You need to leave now." Her words left me puzzled. I had fallen for her, that much was clear, and I wished to be there for her. Why was I being asked to leave? Mary repeated, her voice laden with sorrow, "You must leave. It's not safe here." Determined, I said, "I'll head to the next town to get some petrol. Then, I'll return for you." She remained silent. "I love you, Mary," I confessed, "and I will return. Nothing will keep me away." At the doorway, as we said our farewells, her sadness was palpable, mirroring my own. The thought of leaving was unwelcome to me. As the clock struck midnight, enveloped by the pitch-black night, I continued my journey on foot. Exhaustion overcame me just as the distant lights of a town came into view. Upon securing some petrol, I inquired about the village's name, only to be met with a peculiar glance from the attendant. "What village are you referring to?" he questioned. I described the village to him, the antiquated homes, and the inhabitants in their unusual attire. His expression grew more puzzled. After a moment of contemplation, he revealed, "That village used to exist, but not anymore. It's the subject of bizarre tales." Curious, I pressed, "What do these stories say?" Reluctantly, he disclosed, "A devastating fire engulfed the village. All perished. No one resides there now, nor do any structures remain." Shocked, I sought an explanation. How did this come to pass? And for what reason? He explained, Oliver Cromwell was responsible. His wrath was kindled against the villagers for their allegiance to the king during the war. I was at a loss for words. This can't be accurate, I thought to myself. That conflict occurred over 350 years ago. Memories of the peculiar garments, the lengthy hair, the meals cooked over an open flame, and the age-old dwellings flooded back to me. The horses, too, came to mind. Overwhelmed with confusion, I exclaimed, "But I don't comprehend. I've seen the villagers, conversed with them." The man cast a swift glance my way before he began. "There's a fascinating tale concerning that village. Every decade, for a single day, the village reappears, as if by magic, only to vanish after 24 hours, not to be seen again for another 10 years. On that singular day, the village becomes accessible. However, one must depart before dawn breaks, or risk being trapped forever. Is this even possible? I pondered. It might just be true. Mary had insisted, "You must leave." Her affection was evident, yet she urged, "We must part ways." Her concern for my safety was clear. I've come to realize, I reflected. I returned to where the village stood, but it was gone. Despite my repeated searches, it remained elusive. All that was left were the flowers, the trees, and the melodies of birds carried by the breeze. Overwhelmed with sorrow, I collapsed to the ground in tears. That day is etched in my memory, Mary most of all. My love for her endures. Now, only 2 months remain until the village re-emerges. When the appointed day arrives, I will return. I will seek out Mary, my beloved with the raven hair. This time, I will not heed the warning of dawn. I will remain, to be with her.